other side of the veil. And take a few breaths in and out. And just let that swirl around you. Be open to receive the song of love being sent to you in ways that you can feel, sense, and cognize that you will understand. Your loved ones are there with their hands stretched right out in this moment. All they ask you to do is to feel their love, sense their love. Feel their presence in your life. And now together in this multidimensional state, let us receive a message from the other side coming to us from Kryon.
Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. Let us continue the meditation. Can you hear the song of love? Most will say no. In fact, that is what the human consciousness is working on at the moment with light workers. Becoming more multidimensional. Those are big words for many who say, well, I have no concept of what that means or how to do it or what I should do. I've told my partner before, I've given him answers before. How much training did you need to fall in love? There was none needed. Love has that attribute, dear ones, that it often presents itself automatically. And when it does, the human psyche grabs it, loves it, and doesn't have to have any training. It's one of the things that we crave on this side of the veil, that you would see that attribute and hear the singing, if you want to say, of the love song for you that's always in progress. Humanity loves to be loved, and it loves to love. You know, the word itself has so many meanings. In some languages on the planet, it's split out, as it actually should be, in many, many forms. The love of God, the love of your partner, the love of an animal, the love for Gaia, and on. They're very different kinds of love. And so some languages have made it very clear. When you say a certain word, it means a certain thing. My partner's language has one, love. So you might say that love itself, even the word, is multidimensional in its scope. This particular month of July, and this being the last week of programs, has had a theme. And the theme goes like this: what is your increased awareness? Are you having increased awareness? And through the last 3 weeks, we have given you several things to think about. We call them levels of awareness. But that, again, would indicate a hierarchy, and it isn't. Level itself is a word that means something above something or below something. And yet that's not what we're talking about. We're really talking about attributes, except that we use the word level so that you will think linearly as something above what you're currently thinking. Can you think higher than you've thought before? Now, higher itself is hierarchical, it's linear. Above, below, none of those things are in a multidimensional world. but they are for you. And so we continue to use your structure so that you will understand what we are speaking of is this. Can you think in a way that is bigger than you've ever thought before? Is there something on the planet going on that allows you to have the kinds of thoughts you didn't think you'd have? Light workers in particular, old souls in particular, who are starting to look past what they have thought about before. So many of you believe in the creative source, or what you call God. Has God gotten bigger? Or perhaps you're asking the question of yourself, is there something bigger that I have missed? And if you're one of those, you're doing exactly as I said. The subject for this higher level, if you want to say it, of thinking is love. What do you think about love? Could you have a living awareness of love? I'll tell you something. That's all there is on the other side of the veil. It creeps into the human life in so many ways. But believe me, on the other side of the veil, that's all there is. And so as you increase your awareness, as it gets more like a living awareness, day by day by day by day, living awareness, love can mean something more to you. And the thing we're talking about now is the love of the Creator for you. That's the highest love there is. And if you can assimilate that and start being gracious every day for a Creator who loves you beyond measure, all things that you have ever thought of will start to also increase. You might say, we've waited till the last one to tell you this is the oil that greases the wheel for all the others. This is the beginning of all the others. Can you sit and be quiet and think to yourself, what is there that I've missed? Is there a common denominator, a commonality of all perhaps the belief systems in the planet instead of so many doctrines and so many rules? And the answer is yes, they all got it. It's the love of God. It's all there in almost every single one of them. That's the first thing they received. The Creator loved you enough to create you and give you a chance on this planet for you to find it. That's all there is. Can you find it? Can you find the love of the Creator in your life? Now, with enhanced living awareness of love, you start hearing, metaphorically, the song that is sung for you. Metaphorically. You're not going to hear music, dear ones. You're going to feel loved. And you're going to feel it at the strangest times when you need it the most. The most unusual times when you're in stress, when you're in fear. I want to challenge you the next time you're worried and there's anxiety and you say, how can I get out of this? How can I sleep? I won't know what's going to happen next or tomorrow. What do I do? What do I do? It's going to keep me awake. I want you to try something. I want you to be quiet. Put out your hand and say, thank you for love. It's going to carry me through. I don't care about anything. It doesn't matter about what's going to happen now. All the things I'm anxious about, for a moment, I suspend. Dear Spirit, love me. And there is nothing but love. And love will clear all of this. Not only the anxiety I feel, but it has a play in what's to happen as well. You're posturing yourself for benevolence, dear ones. Did you know that? You're actually paving the ground in front of you for benevolent things when you pave it with love. That is a new, living awareness of the love of God, the love of the Creator. Some have talked about the angels and the guides that you might have around you. You say, guides, come in and help me. They do all the time. You know what they do? They love you. Angels, come in, please. I need you. Well, they're not going to rearrange things for you. They're going to love you. And love rearranges things for you. That is a truism. Can you work with this? Can you think for a moment that you can get out of anxiety and out of fear simply by moving to an exercise that would bring in love? Let me tell you, this is the way of it. Love is the key. It's the catalyst. It's all there is on the other side of the veil. It's what you have when you cross the bridge in the circle of 12, which we'll do tonight. I wouldn't tell you these things if they were not true, dear ones. I'm crying in love with you, in love with humanity. And so it is.
And following that beautiful message of love from the Creator, I invite you to bring those energies of love from Kryon, love from the Creator, bring that back with you as you become more fully aware of your physical body. And as your awareness in your physical body increases, you may open your eyes if you've had them closed. And I'm super excited about our next guest, who is incredible high vibrational guest joining us this evening. Her name is Barbara Blum, and she's coming to us from Mexico. So I want to make sure she's on the Zoom feed with us. Barbara, are you there?
Yes, Monica. Hello. I am here, and I'm so excited to be here with you.
Oh, well, wonderful. We have some amazing information to share with you about Barbara before we begin our conversation.
Barbara Blum is a level 2 CAP facilitator. Now, if you haven't heard what CAP is, it's Kundalini activation process. She's an energy conduit, a yoga instructor, certified meditation instructor as well. She is currently offering a powerful energy transmissions, the way that she works, both in person and to online people worldwide. This is really what she's all about. These are beautiful transmissions that she does. CAP is a direct energy transmission that activates and furthers the awakening of your Kundalini, the latent divine life force of energy inside every single human being.
Now, her transmission of cosmic consciousness comes from both of her work with master worker Venant Wong, as well as the prolific work that she has done with world-renowned healer and fully embodied channel, Asil Toxel. Now, some of you might remember, we actually had Asil on our Healing Wednesday program previously, and it was through Asil that Barbara was initiated into this work by the Elohim in order to transmit these energies and the higher states of consciousness that they evoke in order to assist raising the consciousness of humanity.
So over the last decade, a strong commitment to spiritual growth has evoked a series of ever-deepening transformative awakenings, bringing Barbara to a place of direct connectivity to Divine X, which she transmits. Here's that transmission I talk about during her energy sessions. Well versed in both the traditional teachings of India as well as that of modern mystics, Barbara brings a well-rounded approach to this path toward wholeness. Barbara, welcome to our program.
Thank you, Lee. Wow, it makes it sound so exciting what I do.
I tell you, it is exciting
what you do.
And a little secret, everyone, I had a taste of Barbara's CAP process introduced to me from my good friend Jules with the Stargate. And it is, I'm telling you, it is real, and it is just puts you into such a high state of consciousness and activates the Kundalini. So how did you first get introduced to CAP before we go into the Elohim and cosmic consciousness?
Yeah, so CAP, it's so interesting how these things work. At that point in my spiritual journey, I was deep into my yogic practices. I was having some difficulty. My Kundalini was opening and awakening, and I was looking for something deeper. And CAP, which I'd never heard of before, it was relatively new, literally just landed into my lap. I had a friend who said, "Hey, I heard about this thing. You might be interested since you're always talking about Kundalini." I went and checked it out, and immediately I was very connected to this energy. And it opened something in me, something really deep, really profound. And I knew I needed more. So I immediately signed up for the facilitator training program that Venant was having. Venant Wong is the founder of CAP. And I never knew or suspected that I would fall into this line of work. I was a yoga instructor. I was very happy doing that. I didn't know a lot about energy transmission or channeling of any type, but the energy was so clear. It was so palpable. And I thought, okay, let's just try this and see what happens. So I started transmitting the energy, and things were happening with people, things that I couldn't understand or explain. And it opened up a gateway for me, a beautiful gateway. So this was about 4.5 years ago. And in that time, the transmissions have deepened, the energies have deepened, the whole path has deepened. And I feel so fortunate that I get to do this work. With the pandemic, so much stuff came online, including the CAP transmissions. And I've had the opportunity to work with people from all over the world. And although I prefer and love to do the work in person, because there's always a thing that happens with the physical touch that you can't replace. But working online, I see such transformation for people who don't have access to in-person transmissions, or maybe they've had in-person transmissions, but they want to keep up with the practice online. And watching people awaken, watching these energies move through people's system, through their psyche, watching people heal it's a gift, as you know.
It is. And I want to let people know that Barbara is able to do group, transmissions to a group, as well as one-on-one. Yeah.
I'm interested in how the modality works. I mean, you're saying you're doing it. What is CAP? I mean, how does this work?
Yeah, so CAP is a particular frequency of energy. Unlike other types of energy work where the facilitator is actively trying to read your body, read your system, look for blockages, CAP is what we call a surrender practice, which means you, the participant, there's nothing for you to do. We ask people to lay down and let go. And really what we're surrendering to is that there's a divine intelligence to this energy, and it knows far more than our beautiful but limited human mind. So people come to this work with so many different types of backgrounds, experiences, understanding, self-knowledge, and it doesn't matter where you are, the energy will meet you there. So basically, I just come into kind of a meditative state. I open up an energy field, and the energy just moves through me and into the person or people that I'm working on. So if I'm working one-on-one, it's more of a direct connection. But when I'm working with a group, there's literally a field, an energetic field that opens, and anyone who's included themselves in the field will receive the energy. And the intelligence of the energy, once it hits your system, it knows what to do. So no matter where you are in your awakening process, no matter how much you do or don't understand, the energy will meet you there and it will continue to open you, working through energetic blockages, emotional blockages, all that stuff we hold in the junk drawer of our subconscious. And the beautiful piece about this transmission, and what I love about this, is that it's an embodied modality. And what I mean by that is that while ultimately Kundalini is going to take us into higher and more expanded states of consciousness, it's working on an embodied level. And I think that this is so important because many people are chasing the big experience, but we need to be able to take those experiences back into the body, back into our life. And CAP does both. It expands and it drops you back into the body so you can bring these teachings and bring these things that are being unearthed and uncovered within into your life. So that's kind of the 101 on CAP.
Absolutely. And I would say that, we often get questions coming in, how do I activate my Kundalini? If that is you who has asked that question, the beauty of what Barbara just said is that there is nothing to do. You literally lay down and surrender, and a CAP facilitator will just transmit the energies of the Kundalini to activate within your body. So how did you then, I guess, you met a seal, and then through the Elohim, you are now on another project, which is cosmic consciousness. I'd love to hear more about that.
Tell us about the meeting with the seal.
Well, a seal was another thing that literally just kind of fell into my lap. And I use that term lightly because divine timing just knew what I was ready for, another leap in consciousness. As you know, you've met a seal. He works with the Elohim. He channels these